It is morphin time for another video. What's up, guys? My name is Jared Cox. Working on intros. That one's new. Let me know if it's cool or if it's not cool. It doesn't really matter. We've got an actual team builder finally. We are a couple of days behind just because there's a lot of people in different time zones in this league. It's really hard to sync up schedules and get a battle going. So, recording this on a Monday evening. The match will be Tuesday, hopefully. So you should be seeing this on Tuesday, then you'll see the match tomorrow or Wednesday. So we're gonna run through my team, but first let me tell you what my opponent's got. We're going up against Mr. MT380, the leader of the league himself, the guy who put it all together. I know that's not so loud in the video, but it's loud for me, so I'm gonna cut that down. I apologize. So in his top tier, he's got Chansey, Salamence, and Skarmory. He's brought Chansey to every match so far, I think. Chansey is most well known for just being an absolute monster of a wall. He's set up, I don't know, it can toxic, it can heal itself, it can act as a cleric for its team. It can put out consistent damage and seismic toss, which is really annoying. So you'll see that we've got a little bit of work put into this team to take care of Chansey specifically, and I think it's going to work out. Salamence and what did I say? Skarmory. Salamence and Skarmory, pretty common threat. Skarmory, a very defensive switch in. It's a hazard setter, stealth rock, and spikes. It can roost off damage. It can really sit in front of a lot of things. So we just got to make sure we hit it hard and hit it quickly. It does get sturdy usually. I don't know if people usually carry sturdy on Skarmory. I haven't paid too much attention to it. Salamence is just dangerous all around. It can be run physically. It can be run specially. It can be run defensively, like a subset, and just instead of dragging it, it's behind a sub. So you see we've got a little bit of coverage for that as well. His next tier, Darmanitan, Azelf, and Hippowdon. I'm not too worried about Hippowdon. I don't see him setting the stand up in this particular matchup. I just don't see how it benefits him all that much. Azelf is a good, I think Azelf can set, I'm so used to Uxie. I don't know what Azelf can do actually. So let's check it out. Let's look it up live right now. It does have Stealth Rock. It does get Stealth Rock. Can it set Trick Room? If I spell it right. It can set Trick Room. It can sub. It can U-turn. Can it knock off? It can knock off. That's good to know. I don't think I have knock off on this team anywhere. That might be bad. Let's check out its stats. What can it do? What can it do? Okay, so Azelf is one of the more offensive mons. 115 speed, 125 attack, and special attack. So if we see Uxie, it's probably going to be more of an offensive threat. But we do have Greninja for that. We have Raikou can get out there and take a couple of hits probably. But as I'm sitting here talking about it, maybe I should have prepped more for Azelf specifically, but I think it'll be okay. Darmanitan, very huge threat with Sheer Force, Life Orb. You can give it a Choice Scarf, it can just outspeed a lot of things. And it just hits incredibly hard with things like Flare Blitz. I've got Darmanitan in mind. I think we've got a decent counter in Nidoking or Noivern. Or Golbat even. Maybe I need to run something defensive specifically for Darmanitan. But we'll play it through and see how it goes. Excuse me. Next up, we have Jolteon, Milotic, and his Mega Pick, Mega Ampharos. Mega Ampharos can get pretty bulky, but a couple of Ice Beams takes it down, or an Earth Power. So I'm not too worried about Ampharos. Milotic is annoying because you run the Flame Orb with, what is it? Is it Marble Scale? Is that what it's called? Yeah. Milotic Marble Scale is pretty annoying. It makes it incredibly bulky once it has a status condition. So, maybe if he brings the Milotic out, we might try to get a good Toxic on it before it can activate its own Flame Orb, in case it is a competitive or a Marble Scale set. But at the same time, I don't want to give it Toxic if it's running Marble Scale without like an instant status condition, although I don't know why anybody would run Marble Scale without Flame Orb, basically. Jolteon is a pretty basic threat. It's very fast. It can hit hard. Life Orb or Choice Spec Jolteon just hits like a truck. It's probably going to give him great momentum in Volt Switch, so we'll have to be sure to try to make those reads, get Nidoking in on a Volt Switch, and just hope he doesn't read it back and go for an HP Ice or something. And finally, we have Ambipom, Torkoal, and Sceptile. I was disappointed when I found out that he had Sceptile, because I actually really wanted Mega Sceptile for this team. I just feel like its typing and what it could do as a whole really complemented the rest of the team. But unfortunately, he grabbed Sceptile first, so you win some, you lose some. Sceptile, it's fast, it hits hard, it gets access to Dragon Pulse, which is pretty neat. Torkoal sets the Sun, which can be really dangerous for Darmanitan, especially. And then he might could run like a cheeky Solar Beam on something. Although I don't think Solar Beam does much for him against my team, except maybe like a Greninja. But I just don't see how he'll have that much of an opportunity to get a Solar Beam off against Greninja in the Sun. And then finally, Ambipom, it hits hard. It gets a really strong priority and Fake Out. And it can Baton Pass too, I think. Let me double check. What all does Ambipom do? I've seen Ambipom a lot in League format, and I mostly see it doing things like either Technician Fake Out, or we get like double hit Skill Link or something like that. Let's see, what else does it have? I feel like it's got a really powerful multi-hit move that what I'm looking for, that Skill Link takes advantage of. But it also gets knockoff, which is super strong in League format. It can U-turn out. Its own returns are really hard, especially with either like a Life Orb or even just a Silk Scarf to preserve that HP loss. So Ambipom, I'm a little worried about. Those Fake Outs are going to be annoying. And I'm really torn between running Inner Focus or Infiltrator on a couple of my mons. But let's get into my team now. First off, we have a Golbat running Roost, Toxic, Defog, and Super Fang. Toxics, we're Poison type. Toxic's always going to hit. Running a pretty defensive, or an incredibly defensive Golbat, I should say, with 240 HP. And then the rest of the EVs split defense and special defense and defense favor. This is going to help us switch into things like a Choice Scarf or a Life Orb Darmanitan. And in fact, let's look and see what kind of damage we're doing, or what kind of damage we're taking rather, from a Darmanitan. So let's see. We just look at the Choice Scarf Darmanitan. Yeah. So a Flare Blitz is doing up to 59%. To this EV spread Golbat. If he's a Life Orb though, we're looking at like 76%, almost up to 77% almost. And of course he'll be faster, which is unfortunate. So I think if we're gonna switch into a Darmanitan Flare Blitz, maybe we need to go for Noivern. Actually, Flare Blitz does about the exact same damage to a Noivern. And what's interesting is Draco Meteor would kill a Darmanitan, and we would outspeed it as long as he's not Scarfed. If he is Scarfed, however, let's see. If he's Scarfed, he would absolutely outspeed us. But if we can get our Noivern in clean against Darmanitan, then we may be able to kill it. We could kill it with like a Dragon Pulse or a Hurricane even after Rocks and Flare Blitz recoil. But I think we're running Air Slash on mine for higher accuracy. I'm really scared about. I would love to run Draco Meteor, but as you'll see, we're running Dragon Pulse. I'm just really scared of that accuracy coming back to bite us. But we'll move on. A different Greninja this time, running Focus Sash Torrent Greninja. Is probably just going to be a sash lead to set up those toxic spikes. If we look at looking at MRMT's team, he doesn't have a single poison type on his team, which means toxic spikes specifically have to be either rapid spin away or defogged away. Excuse me. So if we can get a couple layers of toxic spikes up, that's really going to help us, especially against things like like the Chansey, or the Milotic. If it switches in and I have spikes up before, it can get its Marble Scale or its Flame Orb proc. That's really going to help as well. Hopefully, I mean, he could have a hidden tech in Ambipom with Facade. I'm not sure Ambipom gets Facade, but I feel like a lot of things get it. So if he brings a Facade Ambipom to predicting like a Toxic or Toxic Spikes or something, that's gonna be really difficult for us to deal with. But we'll just have to get around it one way or the other. Otherwise, we got Hydro Pump, Taunt, and Ice Beam. Taunt is for the Chansey, although I'm thinking I might switch Taunt out before the match comes. I'm still sort of thinking about things. But it's mostly just to keep things from setting up and to keep Chansey from just continuously healing off its own damage. We could Taunt a Skarmory to keep it from setting up Stealth Rock or its own spikes, for example. We keep it from roosting. I think Ampharos, has set up that we could try to stop. We could stop Salamence from D-dancing or subbing, but mostly that Taunt's just there to deal with the Chansey a bit better. Next up, we have our Nidoking. A bit different this time as well. In the past, we've run offensive Nidoking for the most part, but this one is this one's a far more defensive set. Max HP, max special defense, calm nature. We're running a Stealth Rock and Sub, and then Ice Beam and Earth Power for general coverage. I was gonna run Sludge Wave, but if I ran Sludge Wave and Earth Power, the Skarmory could just sit in front of me all day. So we needed something that would hit Skarmory. And I think this set's gonna do really well for us if we can get it in clean. We get a Stealth Rock off. Maybe we can substitute. Let's see, what's my HP at? Although this is 366, so we're gonna be at level 50. So what's his HP at level 50? 188. So yeah, unfortunately a Seismic Toss would break the sub, but I mean honestly I don't think a Chansey wins the exchange in front of a Nidoking. So I'll set this back to 100. Actually, well, it's OU roll, so actually I think we would be 100. But even still, it would still break the sub. So next up we have Noivern. Bringing Noivern for the first time. I'm pretty excited. Life Orb set, Dragon Pulse, Air Slash, Flamethrower, and Roost. Yeah, I count Life Orb on that. I'm torn between Dragon Pulse and Draco Meteor, specifically for that Darmanitan, because we can live the strongest Flare Blitz it could go for, and then we fire back with a Dragon Pulse and we just kill it. But it's so risky with Dragon Pulses. You know, Dragon Pulse is only 85% accurate, and now that I'm looking at it, Air Slash is 75% accurate. Hurricane's only 5% less accurate. I think we're better off just running Hurricane. Because I feel like if I miss a Hurricane, I would have missed the Air Slash too. So, seeing a change on the fly. Hurricane will help us hit the Darmanitan harder in a situation where we just got to go for as much damage as we can. So, we'll have to sort of make that decision sort of in the moment and hope it's right. But otherwise, we got 252 special attack, 252 speed. I should actually give it that plus nature as well. I forgot to do that. I'm glad I noticed that. This is just going to let us outspeed just about everything except maybe Jolteon and, like I said, Scarfed Darmanitan. We outspeed anything that isn't Scarfed except for Jolteon, but Jolteon's got a base 130 speed. There's nothing on my team that's going to outspeed it. In fact, I need to know what a defensive Nidoking. How does the defensive Nidoking take an HP Ice? 51%. And then it fires back with, let's see, we've got, what's the Nidoking's nature? This is a calm natured Nidoking. So we take an HP Ice, even if it's Choice Specs. Where's Choice Specs at? Yeah, even if it Choice Specs, yeah, a Choice Specs, say Modest, is, we're not running Life Orb though. We're running Black Sludge. So a Modest Choice Specs HP Ice from Jolteon does do 53% to us, But then our Earth Power fires back for like 84 to 100%. And our Black Sludge recovery should save us from a 2-hit KO on HPI. So he'd have to get like max rolls twice to 2-hit KO with HPI after Black Sludge recovery. So hopefully with Earth Power, especially if we've got Toxic Spikes or Stealth Rock on the field, then Earth Power will definitely kill it because the HP will drop enough so that it's a 1-hit KO from the rest. So moving forward, we have our own Choice Spec spawn in Raikou. Excuse me, I'm very stuffy all of a sudden. A pretty basic set. We're running Modest, Max Special Attack, Max Speed, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Hidden Power, Ice, and Aura Sphere. We're running a Rash Nature because Aura Sphere was, I think it's Aura Sphere, was only available through an event. Yeah, Aura Sphere was an event Raikou move. And apparently that distribution was set to be Rash Nature. So we have to run Rash Nature in order for Aura Sphere to be legal, but that's fine because we still get a special attack boost. And this thing is just designed to get out there and just hit hard, much like Noivern. This thing's gonna outspeed everything, but like it's gonna outspeed anything scarfed, or anything that isn't scarfed. Excuse me, except for Jolteon. Because like I said, Jolteon is just gonna outspeed us to hell and back. So if we look at Raikou, or if we look at a Choice Specs Raikou, yeah. So interestingly enough, Salamence. So a Jolly max speed or a Timid max speed Salamence reaches 328 speed. You can see Raikou at max speed without a plus speed nature reaches 329. So that's really all I wanted to do, is to make sure I could outspeed the Salamence, because once we get Salamence in, or Raikou in against the Salamence, we kill with HPIs 100% of the time. So so Raikou's my main Salamence counter. Just get it in clean and hit it with HPIs. Otherwise, it hits other things pretty hard with Thunderbolt. Aura Sphere is going to help against the Chansey and Ambipom as well. And then finally, last but not least, we have Choice Scarf Victini. A bit of a different set this time. V-Create and Bolt Strike to take advantage of the Max Attack Adamant Nature, or Lonely Nature, excuse me. Max Attack Lonely Nature. We're running Lonely because we're also running Dazzling Gleam. He has it's the Salamence. Yeah, so the Dazzling Gleam is to help with Salamence in case Victini is sort of stuck against it. Excuse me. We're also running Trick, and the reason we're running Trick is so we could trick the Choice Scarf onto Chansey and get rid of either its Assault Vest or its Eviolite. Most likely Eviolite. It's going to be running something to help it take hits better. Chansey's bulk is insane, and the harder we can hit that, the better it's going to be, and the faster we'll be able to take it out. So the plan is to get the chance to get Victini in, and know that Chansey's going to stay in, so I can trick the Choice Scarf onto the Chansey, and that's going to really cut down on what Chansey's going to be able to do. And if we screw up and he switches and we trick something else, then we'll play with it from there and just make it work. But that's pretty much it. That's the team. My main plan here. I don't really have any setup mons. Victini does a lot of damage with V-Create and Bolt Strike. If I can trick the Chansey, Raikou does a lot. He puts in a lot of work. We are Choice Specs, unfortunately, so we'll have to make our moves carefully. Noivern can hit pretty hard. It's a Life Orb set. It's got Roosh for recovery. Nidoking can sit and take a lot of hits and just fire off with some powerful Earth Powers and Ice Beam thanks to the Sheer Force ability. Greninja hits hard with Hydro Pump. I should have pointed this out. The reason, in the past we've always ran Protean Greninja, but this week we're running Torrent because that Focus Sash is going to leave us at 1 HP and it's going to let us fire back with something really hard in Torrent range. And then finally we have our Golbat here to just get some residual damage, spread Toxics, weaken down big threats with the Super Fang and defog any hazards away from us, and then roost off any damage it takes. So that's our team. I think we got the best team we could come up with against Mr. MT here. I consider putting in Tapu Fini or Stakataka. I considered Mega Abomasnow and Alolan Sandslash. I don't have Uxie this week, which means I don't have Knockoff, but we do have Trick, and I think we're going to be able to do some really cool stuff with that. So hope you guys enjoyed. Look out for the battle tomorrow, hopefully, if all goes well. And I will see you guys in the next video with, I don't know, a different intro, maybe. Thanks for watching, guys.